Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that the collapse of global trade is actually driven by the exact same mechanics as a petty dispute with your neighbor. Welcome to this custom deep dive. Today, our mission is to explore Book 3, Chapter 1 of a really fascinating conceptual text called Diamond Aspire.
Yeah, it's a profound read, especially the part focused on how we actually transition out of societal collapse and into what the author calls the new story.
Right, okay, let's unpack this. Because the core idea here isn't just that the world is breaking down. I mean, it's that it's going through a very specific, almost structural alchemy.
Exactly. It feels like total chaos to us right now, but the text argues we are actually just watching an old system reach its natural mechanical end. I mean, the author points to 5 specific triggers for this collapse.
Right, which are like environmental damage, climate change, hostile neighbors, decreased support from trade partners, and basically society failing to adapt to all that pressure.
Yeah, those 5. It's a compounding effect.
So it's not like a building with 5 failing pillars where you can just, patch one up. It feels way more like a complex biological ecosystem, right? Like if you remove an apex predator, the whole food chain collapses, which alters the vegetation.
Which then changes the river flow, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is completely inextricably linked.
Exactly. But wait, I'm kind of struggling to see the connection to the individual here. I mean, it feels like a massive leap to compare, say, personal routines to the breakdown of international climate accords. Aren't those operating on completely different logical planes?
Well, it's a fair question, but the text argues they are actually operating on the exact same plane, just at different scales. And this is where the concept of the fractal world comes in.
Oh, like a coastline, where if you look at it from a satellite or measure a single rock with a ruler, the jagged pattern just repeats.
Precisely. The author posits that human society is basically a fractal. So your individual life, your daily habits, your personal conflicts, they are micro-representations of the global human experience.
Okay, so if the global system operates on linear, conflict-driven thinking, which, let's be honest, has been the default for millennia,
then our personal lives inherently reflect that same scarcity and friction.
that makes total sense. The macro is really just a zoomed-out version of the micro. So if the macro is collapsing, the micro has to change its fundamental pattern first.
Exactly. And the text points to a very recent event to prove that this kind of synchronized shift is mechanically possible. I'm talking about the 2020 global lockdowns.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the book actually calls this our literal proof of concept, because for the first time in history, humanity moved as one unified species. Billions of people altered their daily fractals literally overnight. But, and this is crucial, that massive coordination was driven by a baseline frequency of fear and survival.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because if billions of people can instantly rewire their entire existence out of self-preservation, what happens if the organizing principle is cooperation? Not just like feeling fuzzy love, but practically coordinating out of mutual benefit.
Well, that right there is the mechanical shift into the new story. The text describes abandoning our old linear zero-sum perception. The idea that for me to win, you have to lose.
Right, the scarcity mindset.
Exactly. The new model relies on cyclical, cooperative logic instead. The author calls this entering the age of Aquarius, which is characterized by a synarchy of creativity.
Hold on, synarchy of creativity. That sounds a bit abstract to me. I mean, what does a synarchy actually look like in practice when, supply chains are breaking down?
Good point. So a synarchy, unlike a hierarchy, which is based on top-down power, is a system ruled jointly by all elements. Mechanically, it means instead of hoarding resources out of fear, individuals contribute their highly specialized, unique talents to maintain the local ecosystem.
Okay, so you don't have to farm, build, and defend all on your own. You provide what you're best at in service to the whole, creating a closed-loop, resilient community.
Exactly. It's about extreme localization of talent to survive global fragmentation.
But doing that requires a massive psychological shift, doesn't it? I mean, people are exhausted. How do we actually make that jump when the world feels so incredibly heavy right now?
Well, by looking at what that intense heat and pressure over the last few years is actually doing to us, the text uses the concept of alchemy here. Under immense crushing pressure over time, basic, fragile carbon undergoes a structural rearrangement of its atoms to become a diamond.
Wait, so the pressure isn't an accident?
No, not at all. It's the required mechanism for transformation.
Okay, so the author is basically saying that you, the listener, are the carbon. And this whole societal collapse is the pressure needed to reorganize your internal structure into something unbreakable.
Precisely. The text talks about extracting your quintessence. In ancient alchemy, that was the purest essence of a substance. In this context, it means stripping away all that societal conditioning and fear-based programming.
And finding that core, resilient part of human nature, right? When you do that, you fundamentally change your personal fractal.
Yes, and because the system is a fractal, changing your personal blueprint alters the pattern of the whole ecosystem. We move from scarcity and linear conflict to abundance and cyclical cooperation.
Which is incredible because it means you aren't tasked with fixing global trade routes, right? You just have to fix the closed-loop system of your immediate community.
Exactly. The macro transformation is entirely dependent on the micro transformation.
Which leaves us with this. If human society truly is a fractal, and you are a newly forged diamond born from this immense pressure, what is one tiny, highly specialized cooperative shift you can inject into your personal routine today that might ripple out and change the pattern of the entire world?